Welcome to the NFL Battle of the Franchises. This is gonna be a single elimination knockout tournament to determine which of the NFL franchises is the very best during the Super Bowl era. Each franchise gets 4 entries based on a couple of factors: playing in or winning a Super Bowl, and C-Score, a metric created by this channel that evaluates each and every team of the Super Bowl era without just looking at its record. For a deeper explanation about how C-Score works, be sure to check out the description of this video. We're going to be seeding this tennis style, meaning it's not going to be in the traditional 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15 style. Take for example the US Open women's draw from just this past year. Number 1 seeded Aryna Sabalenka would normally be paired up with number 32, with number 16 and 17 on the lower end of the bracket, but instead she is paired up with number 31, with 14 and 19 on the lower end. Every other player in the draw is unseeded and can be placed anywhere. Each of the top 32 seeds in our tournament will be filled with one NFL franchise. First, we have the Super Bowl champions. 20 franchises have won at least one Super Bowl, and they will submit their highest ranked champion by C-Score. They are placed in seeds 1 through 20 here by their C-Score. 8 franchises have been to a Super Bowl without winning it. They submit their high scores and they're placed here between 21 through 28. The 4 remaining franchises simply submit their high scores, and we've got seeds 29 through 32 filled out. As I continue talking here, the other 3 teams from each franchise will be coming across the screen. This one is simple enough. The 3 remaining highest C-scores get in, whether that team won the Super Bowl, played in the Super Bowl, or even made the playoffs. All of these teams are unseeded, so it's possible we could get some real blockbuster matchups early on. The draw is completely random, except that each quadrant may only house one team from each franchise. So the only way for, say, the 2004 and 2007 Patriots to play each other would be in the semifinals or the finals. We simulated all these games on Tecmo Super Bowl III for the Super Nintendo, because that game is so much more fun than any modern Madden game. We'll be getting highlights once we reach the quarterfinals. This was a lot of roster hacking here, so we paid specific attention to names and attributes. Players' jersey numbers, skin tones, and listed position may not always be accurate. Just before we start, a quick shout out to all of you for joining us today. This was quite the task, so I'd greatly appreciate your liking and sharing this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell. Let's find out which NFL franchise is king of the hill. We're getting our first ranked team here in the tournament. In fact, they're our first ranked team. The 1985 Chicago Bears are our number 1 seed. We're going to be running through these first and second round games pretty quickly here. Just want to let you know what that arrow next to the 80 Falcons means. When we got 2 unseeded teams, one of them will be the home team. That was randomized. This particular matchup, it's the 80 Falcons. First round here, the Bears beat the 67 Colts 27-3. The 66 Packers too much for the 80 Falcons 31-17. Big matchup here in the second round, but it goes to the Bears 19-7. They move on to the third round. We now welcome the highest seeded team that wasn't a Super Bowl champion. The 1969 Minnesota Vikings take the 21st seed. They will defeat the Kansas City Chiefs from 1966, 35-14. The 84 49ers are already favorites on the 95 Lions. Being at home made it that much easier. A 48-18 victory. And then they go to Minnesota and sneak out a 21-20 victory to move on. They were known as the greatest show on turf. They came out of nowhere to win the 1999 Super Bowl. This is the St. Louis Rams at number 14. They had a tough matchup with the 19 Ravens and they fall 34-24. The 69 Raiders host the 2024 Eagles, get that win 30-21. The Ravens were the designated home team for this next game. They probably didn't need it. They easily win this one. They move on 33-14. The team the Rams beat in that Super Bowl, the 1999 Tennessee Titans, represent this quadrant as the 27 seed. They're underdogs against the 2021 Buccaneers, and it showed with the Bucs winning 26-10. Now we have the 2015 Cardinals hosting the last good Browns team before they became the Ravens in 1994. The Browns get it done 21-7. They did that on the road. They get this one at home against the Buccaneers, and they're able to win it. We got a Browns team in the third round, 21-13 over the Bucs. They weren't the undefeated Dolphins, but they were probably the better team. The 1973 Miami Dolphins are the 5th seed. Tough matchup against the 68 Cowboys. Tough game, but they win it 16-9. The 2015 Bengals will get to host the 2012 Seahawks, and in a surprising shootout, it's the Bengals taking it 38-35. But a road trip to Miami was too much to ask. The Dolphins are in the third round with a 27-16 victory. Somebody had to be the 32 seed, and that somebody will be the 2011 Texans. They've got themselves a tough matchup against an underrated 85 Jets team, and the Jets run them over 42-10. The 83 Redskins and 79 Steelers makes for an interesting matchup. It was in Washington, and they will win it 37-24. The Jets are the home team for this game against the Redskins. They needed overtime, but they win it 27-24. They're out of this quadrant. Here we've got the Big Blue Wrecking Crew. The 1986 New York Giants are the number 9 seed. They've got a fairly easy matchup at home against the 2017 Jaguars, and it was a fairly easy win, a shutout in fact, 34-0. Now we have the 2014 Patriots hosting the 2022 Bills, another shootout. This one won by New England, 44-28. Patriots and Giants, sounds familiar. The Patriots get some revenge, a lower scoring game, but a win nonetheless, 20-10. They lost one regular season game before losing in the Super Bowl. Our 23 seed is going to be the 2015 Panthers. They've got a tough matchup with the 79 San Diego Chargers, but they get it done with their offense, a 35-21 victory. The 18 Saints have to go to Denver, always a tough place to play against the 05 Broncos. Denver wins it 28-14. They travel to face Carolina, and they brought the offense in this one, a 41-24 victory over the seeded Panthers. They might just be the single greatest offense of the Super Bowl era. The 1989 San Francisco 49ers are the 4 seed. They've got another Super Bowl champion in the 82 Redskins, but it's not a problem. A 38-21 victory. The 07 Jaguars play host to the 68 Raiders. Oakland travels across the country to win this one 31-19. A much shorter road trip to face the 49ers, but a much harder team. San Fran moves on with the 24-13 win. The Cleveland Browns have their seeded team with the 1987 squad, taking number 30. They will host the 68 Chiefs, and I think this is an upset, winning it in overtime 23-17. The 09 Texans play host to the 06 Bears. I'm certain this one's an upset. A 20-14 victory over Chicago. They now travel to Cleveland, and they came to life. They win this game 35-17. The 2009 Houston Texans are moving on. Plenty of Patriot championship teams to choose from. Their highest rated by C-score was the 2014. They grabbed the 10 seed. They're going to play the 82 Jets, and it's an easier victory than you might have expected. The 82 Jets were pretty good. It's 30-14. The 22 Bengals will play host to the 77 Broncos. The Orange Crush defense backed up by its offense today. A 28-21 victory, but their trip to New England does not go nearly as well. The Patriots advance and move on 35-22. 4 franchises have not won or been to a Super Bowl. The 1970 Detroit Lions rate out as the highest of those. They're seeded number 29, but that doesn't help them defeat the 2024 Bills. Buffalo get the 20-7 victory. The 1970 St. Louis Cardinals, they get to play at home against the 68 Colts, but the Colts are clearly the better team. They win this one 42-9. They will now play the 24 Bills. It's in Buffalo, but it makes no difference. The Colts, the winners of the Ultimate Imperialism Championship, win this one 35-12. From their 4 Super Bowl titles in 6 seasons, it's the 75 Pittsburgh Steelers who get seated here at number 6. They're playing the last of the Lombardi Packers here, the 1967 Green Bay squad. It was a grind-em-out affair, but a 16-6 victory. The 2022 Eagles host the 1982 Dolphins. They take care of business 27-14. The Battle of Pennsylvania is in Pittsburgh, and it goes to Pittsburgh. The Steelers win this one 24-10. There are lots of better Chargers teams, but this is the only one that ever actually made it to the Super Bowl. The 94 Chargers are ranked number 26. They're going to be underdogs here against the 2000 Buccaneers, and we can see why. Tampa wins it going away 31-3. The 76 Vikings play host to the 08 Giants the season after they won the Super Bowl, and it was the Vikings 32-21. They will also get to play host against the Buccaneers, and playing at home certainly helped in a 26-14 victory. Maybe they've deserved more than one Super Bowl, but one's what they've got. The 2009 New Orleans Saints are the seeded team here at number 12. Tough first round matchup with the 77 Cowboys, and that Doomsday defense leads the way to a 28-10 victory. The 2014 Seahawks hosted the 2000 Titans. 20-0 became 20-18, but it's a Seattle win. They now have to travel to Dallas. Dallas once again puts up 28 points in a victory, beating Seattle 28-17 to advance. It was a tight call between the two Atlanta Super Bowl teams, but it was the 98 Falcons who get the Duke and with it the 24 seed, but they've got to play the 2001 Rams. Being at home made no difference. St. Louis rolls them 40-11. The 96 Panthers, in their second year of existence, host and defeat the 2008 Ravens 21-14. They get home field here against the Rams, but this Rams team was way too good, a 30-16 victory. We start the bottom half of the bracket with the first of the 4 Buffalo Bill consecutive Super Bowl losses. The 1990 team is the number 22 seed. First, the 2012 Falcons will host the 2011 Saints. This was a mismatch. The Saints win it 45-20. As far as Buffalo goes, they just slipped by the 73 Rams 24-22. They're going to get to play host to the 2011 Saints, 2 very good offenses. The Saints were slightly better in a 34-29 victory. The 2017 Philadelphia Eagles won the franchise their first ever Super Bowl. They're seated here at number 16. The first matchup here is between the 74 St. Louis Cardinals and the 24 Detroit Lions, and the Lions couldn't get it done. The Cardinals win 28-3. The Eagles match up with the 04 Chargers. Tough game, but they win it 31-20. In hosting the Cardinals, we had 5 field goals and 1 touchdown. That touchdown belonged to the Eagles in a 13-9 victory. The next quadrant is represented by the so close yet so far away 1988 Bengals. They're seated at 25th. If they can win, they're going to be playing the 91 Oilers, who won a shootout over the 07 Colts 38-20. Against the 74 Redskins, the Bengals could not get the win, falling 24-21. Houston will host Washington. A little bit more defense for the Oilers in this one. They don't care if they got the win. They move on 24-10. We've arrived at the Legion of Boom. The 2013 Seattle Seahawks are the 7 seed in this completely stacked quadrant. Our first game, the 1990 New York Giants and the 84 Dolphins. The Dolphins bring the offense in a 31-13 victory. As far as Seattle goes, this game just got away from them. New England winds up hammering them 42-15. They also draw home field against the Dolphins, and this powerhouse quadrant went down easy to the 07 Patriots. They win this one 35-7. They may have only lost to one team all season, but they did it 3 times. The 31st seed here are the 99 Jaguars. They'll be hoping to take on the 2019 Chiefs, who destroyed the 2012 Texans 49-16. This is a tough matchup with the 23 Ravens, but the Jaguars pull it off, stopping a late 2-point conversion in a 17-15 victory. They do get to play host to KC, but that wasn't enough to overcome that unit. The Chiefs win and move on 37-19. Easily one of the greatest defenses of the Super Bowl era. The 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the 15th seed. There's a really good team on the other side of the bracket. The 98 Vikings travel to Chicago to take on the 01 Bears and put them down easily, 38-8. The Bucs will get to meet them. They beat the Bill Parcells 98 Jets 20-13. Classic offense versus defense matchup here, and defense takes the day. 24-22, the 0-2 Bucs are in the 3rd round. It took them a while to get Super Bowl win number 1. The Oakland Raiders did it in 1976. They're our number 18 seed. They're going to have a very intriguing matchup, an in-season matchup with the 76 Steelers. First, the 05 Panthers take down the perennially underachieving 87 49ers 34-23. In this AFC Championship game rematch, it was a slugfest. The Raiders win it 10-0. They now get to host the Panthers. A lot more offense in this game. The Raiders win. They move on 42-31. Still maybe a little hard for some people to believe, but the best Packer team of them all in the Super Bowl era was from 1996. They're the number 3 seed. The 97 Broncos will play the 66 Browns. Tough for Cleveland to have to go to Denver. They go down 34-17. The 78 Cowboys, not an ideal first round matchup, but the Packers win it 41-24. They follow that up with a win between two franchises that could not get away from each other during this time. They beat the 97 Broncos 30-14. They still owe part of their soul to the devil, but the 1968 Jets did win the Super Bowl. They get seated at number 19. On the other side of the bracket, the 67 Raiders, also an AFL team, hammer the 2018 Texans in Houston 44-17. The Jets don't have a daunting challenge. They do beat the 06 Jaguars 23-13. It's Jets Raiders all over again, and the Raiders get themselves a modicum of revenge, a 29-10 victory. They won the Super Bowl the year before, and in 1998, the Broncos did it again. They're the number 13 seed here. The 1978 Steelers will feel hard done not to be seeded in this tournament. They go to Detroit and win 27-7. They will be meeting the 98 Broncos, who really took care of the 20 Buccaneers 31-13. This is a rematch of the Grand Imperialism semifinal, and this time the 98 Broncos get the win, 21-14. Some may consider this to be the best defense of the Super Bowl era. The number 17 seed in the bracket here are the 2000 Ravens. First, we have the Philadelphia Eagles of 1980 hosting and defeating the 2016 Falcons 31-21. These Ravens never saw an offense like the 94 49ers, and it showed. The Niners win it 28-14. They now have to travel to Philly to face the Eagles, and I might be biased, but this is an upset. The Eagles defeat the Niners 26-21. We've got 5 Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl championship teams, and it's the one in the middle, the 92 squad, that gets seated at number 8. The 76 Bengals host the 08 Titans. Surprising that this was such a blowout, even in Cincinnati, 41-10. The Cowboys will take care of the Seahawks from 05, 32-21. They play host to the Bengals. The Bengals did well to get this game into overtime, and they did even better to win it. A massive upset here for Cincinnati. They move on 26-20. They somehow made the Super Bowl in 2008, and because of that, the Arizona Cardinals are seated here at number 28. Their matchup is going to be tough. Let's see who they might face. It'll be the 68 Browns hosting the 67 Rams. A 31-27 exciting game victory for the Browns. The 72 Dolphins will not allow the 08 Cardinals to move on. They won't even allow a point in a 23-0 victory. They have to go to Cleveland, but it makes no difference for this undefeated juggernaut, a 31-7 victory. They've won a lot of recent Super Bowls, but the highest rated one still remains the 1969 team. The Kansas City Chiefs here at number 11. The first round matchup here between the 05 Giants and the 13 Panthers goes to the Giants 17-14. And in a tough matchup with the 10 Packers, not a tough result. A 48-24 victory for the Chiefs. They get to play host to the 05 Giants and they win it 28-20. They move on as well. Perhaps it's a bit surprising that the 2006 Indianapolis Colts grabbed the lowest seed available to Super Bowl champions. They're at number 20. In the first game here, the 87 Saints play host to the 21 Bills, and it's the Bills coming out with a gritty 21-16 victory. The Colts have to play host to the super tough 1970 Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings control the game 21-10. They have to go to Buffalo. They're going to be favorites, but that mattered not to the Bills. A pretty big upset here. Buffalo winning this one 30-14. Now for our final entry as a seeded team, the powerful 1991 Washington Redskins are the 2 seed. This bracket has the 86 Bears. They get to play host to the 06 Chargers. They may have been favorites, but 42-3 wasn't on too many bingo cards. The Bears win. The 91 Redskins have a tough opponent with the 2010 Patriots, and they had to fight to win this one 31-23. They get it slightly easier here against the 86 Bears, not as good as the 85 Bears of course. They win this one 27-9, giving us our final team in the round of 32. We've got 4 quadrants to go to. The team that comes out of each quadrant will be in the quarterfinal, which is when we're going to get on the field to see who will be the king of all NFL franchises. Tough game here for the 85 Bears against the 84 49ers, but they win it easily, 34-15. The 94 Browns get to play host to the 2019 Ravens, but Baltimore beats their old team, so to speak, 23-6. They've got to go to Chicago to face the 85 Bears. This game had 0 touchdowns and 7 field goals. 4 of those field goals belonged to the Ravens. They win in an upset, 12-9. They're in the quarterfinals. Their opponents will come from this bracket. The 73 Dolphins play host to the 85 Jets. It was a tight affair. The Dolphins do win 21-17. The 2014 Patriots get a little lucky not having to go to Denver to play the 05 Broncos, but the game itself involved no luck, a 46-17 victory. They now have to travel to play the 73 Dolphins, and in an interesting final score for a Patriots game, they lose 28-3. The 73 Dolphins are in. The 4th seeded 1989 49ers probably got the best draw here against the 09 Texans. Yeah, 35-0 cakewalk. The 04 Patriots did not get a favorable draw against the 68 Colts, but at home they get it done. A funny looking final score, 26-22. We now have our first matchup between 2 seeded teams. As the higher seed, the Niners will get to host this game. They hold off a Patriot comeback attempt and win 24-18. They join the other teams now in the quarterfinals. Only 1 seeded team in our next bracket, the 75 Steelers. They're going to host the 76 Vikings. They allow 5 points and score 4 times as many in a 20-5 victory. The 77 Cowboys do draw home field against the 01 Rams. That may have made the difference in a 38-28 victory. But now they've got to go play this steel curtain defense, and they do not get it done. Pittsburgh wins it. They move on 24-7. Only 1 seeded team in this bracket as well, at number 16, the 2017 Eagles. That wasn't enough to get the win though. The 2011 Saints come into town and win it 37-21. A lot of offense expected in this one. The Patriots from 2007 get to host the 91 Oilers. It was all Pats in the first half and it went wild in the second half. A 51-28 victory. They will not get home field against the Saints. Can that Superdome crowd do the trick? It turns out they can. In overtime, the 2011 Saints knock out the 2007 Patriots 27-24. This bracket has 3 seeded teams, and the unseeded team is quite good in the 2019 Kansas City Chiefs. Not quite good enough to go to Tampa and beat the 0-2 Bucks though. A 28-16 victory for Tampa. The 76 Raiders go to the 96 Packers, and in another weird looking final score, it's 36-12 for Green Bay. That means they get to play host to the Buccaneers, and in this game they're led by their defense. A 24-13 victory, the 96 Packers have made it to the quarterfinals. Looking at this foursome here, the 98 Broncos are going to be the favorite to come out of this, but they couldn't beat the 67 Raiders in the first place. Oakland wins this one 42-26. The 76 Bengals draw home field against the 80 Eagles, and their defense came to play in this one, a 20-3 victory. They lose out on home field to the 67 Raiders, so this will be a tough one for them, but it didn't matter. The 1976 Bengals have clawed their way into the quarterfinals with a 27-21 victory. One more spot to fill here, presumably between 2 seeded teams, although the 72 Dolphins have something to say about that. They go to Kansas City and beat the Chiefs 28-14, and in maybe the biggest upset we've had to this point, the number 2 seeded 1991 Redskins lose at home to the 2021 Buffalo Bills. It's a good Buffalo team, but they weren't expected to win this one. Now they've got to play the 72 Dolphins. We wound up with 2 unseeded teams. Buffalo draws home field, and the Cinderella run will continue. A 23-10 victory over Miami. Our quarterfinals are now set. These are the 8 teams involved. We got 4 seeded teams, the 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we have our 4 unseeded teams. The 76 Bengals and the 21 Bills are kind of the Cinderellas here. They're going to actually play each other in the quarterfinals, guaranteeing one of them into the semis. Our other 2 unseeded teams are the 2011 Saints and 2019 Ravens. They may be unseeded, but they're not pushovers. They're going to try to win this one as well. 8 teams remain, 8 separate franchises remain in the battle of the franchises. It's now time to take this to the field. Our first matchup is going to be the 2019 Ravens on the road to take on the 1973 Miami Dolphins. Now, because the Baltimore Ravens do not exist in Tecmo Super Bowl III, we had to dress them up in the uniform of another team. That would be who they used to be, the Cleveland Browns. The Dolphins will kick things off in the first quarter. Larry Zonka right up the middle for a touchdown. Here come the Ravens. This pass goes to Hayden Hurst. He gets it down to the 1-yard line. Lamar will take it in himself to tie it up at 7. They've got it back. Lamar goes deep to Mark Andrews in the end zone for the touchdown. The Dolphins respond with their deep threat. Paul Warfield makes the catch, but he fumbles. The Ravens can't recover before it goes out of bounds, and the Dolphins make him pay. Warfield with the touchdown. Now in the second half, Marlon Briscoe goes deep for the score. They've got it again, but Matt Judon is able to get Bob Greasy down for the sack. That's going to lead to this Garo Yepremian field goal attempt. It is good. It's 24-14. The Ravens are looking to come back. They're facing a 4th and 8. Lamar throws to Marquise Brown, makes the catch, gets away from a couple of defenders. They got even further upfield but got knocked back. It's 3rd and 25. The rush comes. The pass is rushed and it's intercepted by Jake Scott. Breaks a tackle. Lamar's going to dive at him and miss, and Scott's going to take it all the way for the touchdown. The Dolphins add one more and get a very convincing 38-14 victory. It wasn't easy all the way through, but in the end, a comfortable victory for the Dolphins. They move on into the semifinals. They'll get to play host if the Steelers beat the Niners. They'll have to go on the road if the Niners beat the Steelers. I do have to mention that the recording for the next 2 games is a little shaky. I didn't realize it till it was too late, took care of the problem, and every other game afterwards is going to run just fine. The Steelers and the 49ers are next. Scoreless in the first, Andy Russell pops Joe Montana, knocking the ball loose. The Steelers will recover from this short field. They will take advantage off the play action. Terry Bradshaw finds John Stallworth for the touchdown. Once again, Montana will fumble. This time, it's L.C. Greenwood. The Steelers recover again, and they're going to have an even shorter field. From the pocket, the dump-off pass goes to Franco Harris. He runs it upfield for the touchdown. The Niners have a weapon, though. That's Jerry Rice making the catch, getting it down to the 21. That leads to a field goal. It's 14-3. Franchi Fuqua in for the injured Franco Harris runs it in for the score. It's now 21-3. Throw it to Jerry Rice. That's a touchdown. 21-10, but Fuqua's not done. He gets in for the score. The Steelers add a field goal. It's now 31-10. Time is not on the Niners side, but once again, throw it to Rice. He goes up, makes the score. 31-16 after the missed two-point conversion. This onside kick is recovered by the Steelers. In fact, they get a pretty good return out of it. They kick a field goal, and that's all she wrote in this one. The Steelers win 34-16. The Steelers' final margin was closer than that of the Dolphins, but they seem to have an easier time all the way through. That gets them into the semifinals, where they will be traveling to Miami. We have 2 quarterfinal games remaining. The first one should provide some offensive fireworks. The 1996 Green Bay Packers will play host to the 2011 New Orleans Saints. We're getting an exchange of touchdowns here. Brett Favre to Antonio Freeman. Drew Brees to Marcus Colston for New Orleans. This deep pass goes to Don Beebe, makes a great catch and spins away for the score. And now the Saints will respond. Pierre Thomas off left tackle, takes it inside the 10. They get him down at the 2-yard line. Off the pitch, Darren Sproles will get it in. Tied at 14, still in the first half. Brett Favre holds it too long. Sean Rogers is going to rip the ball loose, and the Saints are going to have a chance to take the lead now. They're going to be forced to settle for a field goal attempt, but that's Reggie White breaking through the line and blocking it. The Saints force a turnover but cannot take advantage. We're going to head to the second half now. The Packers are going to run the ball. Edgar Bennett goes through the middle and gets in for the score. Drew Brees is going to fire this to Marcus Colston. We're not trying to be dramatic. The film just froze there for a second. Colston did catch it for the touchdown, tying this game up at 21. No, the Saints are going to go for 2. In a game with this kind of back and forth action, they're looking for a leg up. They go in motion. The Packers are crowding the line. They back out instead. The Saints now check into another play, probably a run. Yes, it's a handoff to Pierre Thomas, but he's stopped, and the Packers maintain their 1-point lead. The Saints get it back, but Thomas will fumble. Sean Jones forces the fumble. He will also recover the fumble. He will break 2 tackles and score the touchdown. The Saints are now on the comeback trail. This pass across the middle is intercepted by Leroy Butler. Under 2 minutes to go. That will salt it away. In fact, Green Bay is going to go ahead and tack on another touchdown and win this one 35-20. New Orleans hung with Green Bay as long as they could, but the Packers had more staying power. They move on into the semifinals, where they're guaranteed a home game. As the highest remaining seed, they're guaranteed home games the rest of the way. They await the winner of our unseeded battle here between the 1976 Cincinnati Bengals and the 2021 Buffalo Bills. Let's go ahead and flip this coin to see who gets home field. Heads goes to the Bengals, tails goes to the Bills. The coin will land on heads. Cincinnati is going to have this one at home. The Bengals are backed up in their own territory. We're scoreless in the first quarter. Ken Anderson's going to get this pass off to Archie Griffin, but Micah Hyde's going to knock it loose. The Bills will pick it up and run it back in for a touchdown. The sloppiness continues. Micah Hyde gets an interception here. Marvin Cobb gets one back for the Bengals. Kane Anderson fumbles here, and the Bills are going to recover. No one's getting anything out of this. It's still 7-0. The Bengals are going to block this punt. Not officially a turnover, but Coy Bacon's going to run it in for the score. We're tied at 7 and no one scored on offense until now. Stephon Diggs, a diving catch in the end zone. 2:20 left in the game. The Bengals are going to try a 55-yard field goal on 4th and not very much. Chris Barr is going to put it in. That'll cut the lead down to 14-10. Will they kick it off or will they onside? They will kick it off. The Bengals defense has played well today. Isaiah McKenzie gets a nothing return, but the Bills are moving it. They're facing a 3rd and 8. The direct snap to Devin Singletary is gonna work for the first down. And just to punctuate matters, Josh Allen's gonna run this in for a score as time expires to make that final look a little bit better for Buffalo. They win this one 21-10. It certainly didn't look pretty, but the Buffalo Bills keep winning. They become the only unseeded team into the semifinals. They're going to go to Green Bay to face the 96 Packers for the opportunity to go to the championship game. First, we're going to find out who goes on the other side of the bracket. The 73 Dolphins play host to the 75 Steelers. The Dolphins will look to score first in this game, and they do with Paul Warfield. Terry Bradshaw throws this across the middle. John Stallworth wasn't there, but Tim Foley for the Dolphins was. They've got a drive going, have a chance to take a 14-0 lead in the first quarter, and it's Warfield again in traffic. After a Pittsburgh 3-and-out, now it's Larry Zonka, and it's 21-0. Franco Harris goes up the middle in the second quarter, getting a big gain, spins away from a tackle. This was the kind of play that Pittsburgh needed to get back in this game. He's down at the 10-yard line. A couple of plays later, Harris will take it in himself. It's 21-6 after a failed 2-point conversion. We're now in the fourth quarter. Bradshaw looks across the field to Lynn Swann for the touchdown. Pittsburgh's getting back in it, but their defense can't hold up. Paul Warfield with the diving catch. Throw your hats on the field. Warfield gets himself a hat trick. That makes it 28-13, and 28-13 will be our final score. And with that win, we drop the highlight on the 73 Dolphins. They will represent Miami in the Battle of the Franchises championship game. They have a chance to play at home if the Buffalo Bills can pull off another upset. Otherwise, they have to travel to Green Bay to face the 96 Packers. Let's find out who their opponent is gonna be and get these two teams on the field. The Packers run this to Dorsey Levens. Matt Milano will force it loose. The Buffalo defense has forced another fumble. They've picked it up and they're running it back to the 14-yard line. Josh Allen and the offense are going to make him pay. Dawson Knox with the touchdown. Buffalo leads 7-0. Green Bay faces a 3rd and 20. Brett Favre doesn't see anything he likes. He tries to run, doesn't get much. But in much worse news, Brett Favre has been knocked out of this game. His backup is Jim McMahon. He is now in the game with the Packers. It's 3rd and 10 from the Buffalo 36. McMahon looks downfield, holds it too long, and Harrison Phillips is going to get him down for the sack. The Packers defense gets Green Bay the ball again. This is Dorsey Levens, and he fumbles again. Jordan Poyer will knock the ball loose. Buffalo's getting a drive together here. This deep pass goes to Stephon Diggs, cuts inside. Green Bay tackled him at the 5-yard line, and that was important because Buffalo was held to a field goal attempt. Tyler Bass makes it. It's 10-0. Now in the second half, Buffalo has it again. Josh Allen drops back. Reggie White gets a hold of him, and he tears the ball loose. Takes one to no one. We've got another sloppy Buffalo Bills game. Can they do something with it? Jim McMahon hangs in the pocket, throws deep. What a gorgeous pass over two outstretched defenders to Antonio Freeman, but Buffalo will block the extra point. It stays 10-6. Now it's 3rd and 12 in the fourth quarter. McMahon tries to run, gets taken down for the sack, and on 4th and 15, they're going to go for it. They could punt here. The defense is playing well, but this pass is incomplete. Can the Packer defense hold on here? Buffalo has 3rd and 5 from the 29. Allen quickly is going to throw this to Emmanuel Sanders. He gets the first down. Fighting for extra yardage, making sure to hold on to the ball. He will go down. It's now 3rd and 15. Allen's just going to keep it. Picks up 5 yards. Kind of centers the field goal here for Bass. He puts it up and in. That's important. It makes it a 7-point game. Green Bay, this is their last chance. Just over 2 minutes left in the game. McMahon is going to throw this ball to Antonio Freeman at the sticks, and he picks up a lot more. That is very important. Nothing on first down, 2nd and 10, 1:43 left. McMahon goes up the seam to Keith Jackson, and Buffalo desperately gets him down at the 7. They run it to the 1-yard line. On 2nd down, they're well inside the 1. It's Edgar Bennett up the middle for the touchdown. The Packers have made this 13-12. Will they kick the extra point? Or will they go for 2? We've seen a lot of aggression in this tournament, and they're gonna kick the extra point. They've already had one block. There's no way that Buffalo can block another one. There's no way they blocked another one. It remains 13-12. The onside kick is laid down, and it's Dawson Knox who scored the first touchdown, recovering it. But they're forcing a punt here. The Packers come after it. They suffer 2 blocked extra points, but they can't block the punt. Desmond Howard's going to try to get a return out of this. He's fighting for yards, and while he does so, the clock ticks away. What a crazy game. The Bills go into Green Bay and pull the upset, winning it 13-12. Cinderella, it's not yet midnight. The 2021 Buffalo Bills are going on to the championship game in the Battle of the Franchises. And the Battle of the Franchises will be won by an AFC East representative. It's the Miami Dolphins from 1973, playing host to the Buffalo Bills from 2021. The Bills are being forced to punt here in the first quarter. The Dolphins are coming after it. Now the Bills are victims of a blocked kick. Miami is going to get great field position. They've gone nowhere though. It's 3rd and 10. But Bob Greasy is going to look for his not-so-secret weapon, Paul Warfield, for the touchdown. What a performance Warfield's put on in this tournament. The Dolphins take an early 7-0 lead. Buffalo will not be deterred. They're facing a 2nd and 16. Josh Allen's going to hang in the pocket. Goes deep to Emmanuel Sanders. Finds the window. Big gain there of 33 yards. But Buffalo has to settle for a field goal. Tyler Bass has yet to miss this entire tournament. But he does now. The score remains 7-0. The Bills D gets him the ball back. They're at the Miami 26. Allen's going to hang in the pocket again. He's going to go to Sanders again, and he's going to connect with him again. Touchdown, Buffalo, as the first quarter expires. This is a tough bunch. They're right back in this game, but they will not tie it because Tyler Bass now misses an extra point. So Miami remains in the lead at 7-6. They're backed up 3rd and 19 at their own 10. Greasy drops back, is going to look for Paul Warfield, but they're on top of it this time, forcing the incompletion. Now Buffalo's moved it to the Miami 23-yard line out of the shotgun. Josh Allen wants Emmanuel Sanders again, gets it past the defender. Touchdown, Buffalo. They're in the lead. It's 12-7. We got to look in on this extra point. Tyler Bass isn't having a good day, but he's going to make this one. So the lead is officially 13-7. Miami has now crossed midfield. We're in the second half. Greasy's gonna throw to Jim Mandich. It's intercepted by Jordan Poyer. I don't think Miami has enough speed on the field right now. And Poyer's gonna run it back for a touchdown. What a turn of events here. Buffalo has now taken a 20-7 lead. Miami needs to lean on their running game a little bit. They're at the Buffalo 40. Greasy drops back. The ball is loose. Jerry Hughes forces it. The Bills pick it up. Miami gives chase. They tumble over each other. And just like that, the Bills have scored 2 defensive touchdowns in the second half. That was Gregory Rousseau scooping up the fumble and running it back. The Bills have inexplicably taken a 27-7 lead. Now Miami has it at 2nd and 20. Greasy's gonna be looking for Warfield. He goes to him, makes the catch, and picks up a few more yards. It's going to be important for the Dolphins to score before the quarter is over, and Warfield's going to see to it. Touchdown, Miami. This game's not over yet. They're in a hole, but they're digging out of it. It's now 27-14. The Bills are going to look to burn some clock, maybe get back on the scoreboard, out of the shotgun. Allen is going to hang in the pocket, goes to Dawson Knox for the first down. But Dick Anderson knocks it loose. Every Buffalo game has been sloppy with block kicks and fumbles. The Dolphins have done it here. There's still time left in the third quarter. Only 27 seconds, but they can strike. They're at the 36. Buffalo leans forward. The handoff goes to Mercury Morris, spins away from a tackle, spins away from another. And before the third quarter is over, Miami has scored twice. Folks, we've got a ball game here. It's 27-21. Buffalo needs to get going, but it's 3rd and 18. Allen will drop back. This pass is incomplete. Miami gets the ball back. They're in Buffalo territory, in position to take the lead. The Bills crowd the line. Greasy's going to throw over it. He's going to find Marlon Briscoe. The Bills will track him down. Very reminiscent of the Green Bay game. They're going to be looking for a goal line stand here. On first down, Mercury Morris up the middle. Only gains a yard. They go to Zonka. On second down, he's fighting hard, but Buffalo will get him down. He loses a yard. They're going to throw on third down. Greasy wants Warfield, but the defense is there. And Miami on fourth down will kick a field goal. Now, there is a quirk in this game. Close field goals from the bottom hash are notoriously difficult. From 21 yards out, Garo Yepremian, he makes it, cutting the lead down to 27-24. Miami is gonna kick it away. This game is replicating the Packer game quite a bit here. Right down to Isaiah McKenzie getting nothing, but he actually fumbles the ball. But Buffalo will pick it up and actually get a pretty decent return on it. My goodness gracious. It's 3rd and 4. Miami desperate for a stop here. Allen goes to Knox, makes the catch, makes up for his fumble. Gets a lot of yards down to the 30. Miami defense can still hold here. It's 2nd down. Allen drops back. Runs it himself, goes through the middle, and gets the first down. They wind up kicking a field goal. Miami has no time left, and they've done it again. The Bills win this game 30-24. I guess we're going to stick with the Cinderella metaphor here. The 2021 Buffalo Bills have married their prince. They win the battle of the franchises, and that means the kings of the hill of the Super Bowl era, despite never winning a Super Bowl, are indeed the Buffalo Bills. An amazing run by the Buffalo Bills, capped off by an amazing championship game. The 2021 Buffalo Bills will reign supreme. I want to thank everybody once again for taking the time to join us today. Please give this video a like, share it around, subscribe to the channel, ding that notification bell so that you don't miss out on anything else that we have to offer. So until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.